I'm here tonight to tell you about my compulsion. Everywhere I go, I carry at least one Sharpie marker, just in case I see something that upsets me. Something like unnecessary apostrophes or a misplaced comma. These things cause me irrational irritation, and they cause my heart to beat a little faster. You see, I'm a typo vigilante. When I see punctuation or grammar that's wrong on a tip jar, a microwave in a break room, even a garage sale sign some kid hand-lettered, I have to fix it. I make a comma, I X something out, I add a letter, I change a homophone. Sometimes I enlist my husband to cause a distraction so I can do this covertly. Now, I would never change anything that's on an engraved sign or anything other than paper, since that would be considered by some to be an act of vandalism, instead of a helpful correction. So some of these slides, they indicate corrections that I would like to have made. The situation is really dire when something is posted beyond my reach. I'm only 5'3" most days, depending on the shoes I wear. So I've found that without a ladder, my maximum safe height is only about 5'5". I've contemplated buying one of those grabbers that you can see on TV, you know, on late night TV, but they're kind of bulky as an accessory. So I'd like to live in a world where I don't have to carry around markers, but it's hard. And it's not that I want to point out that somebody made an error, it's just that I can't leave things that way when it can be corrected so easily. So here are a few of the things that cause people like me to go a little bit crazy and to break out the Sharpies. Let's start with apostrophes. These tiny little marks are they look insignificant, but they actually mean something. Apostrophes indicate ownership or a missing letter, like in the contractions it's and I'm, which really mean it is and I am. Apostrophes are not used to make plurals. These little marks can cause the most common errors, and it can be pretty funny for those of us who are nerdy enough to notice. Most of the time, it's not a big deal, but when something gets printed incorrectly, it can be really embarrassing. Like the person who decided to use a comma instead of an apostrophe after Girl Scouts probably received a lot of angry calls about the ingredients in this ice cream treat. Over and over again, these errors put the wrong images in our heads. Unless you're using them to cite a book title, quotation marks indicate that a person said verbatim a specific thing. Easy, right? But the most common misuse of quotes is to put them unnecessarily around a term or a phrase that can stand on its own. Some people are tempted to use them to emphasize a point, but don't do this. It can make your statement seem to lack credibility. So if you're not sure if you should use quotation marks in writing, try saying them aloud and using air quotes, which are often used to indicate sarcasm or irony in speech. If you want to tell someone your friend is genuinely a great cook, you wouldn't say, she's a great cook. You'd just say, she's a great cook. And on an anniversary card to your spouse, you wouldn't want to write, here's to the best husband in the world, unless you're not interested in having any more anniversaries. The quotation marks used here make one wonder if the restrooms on the other side of the building, are they really restrooms? Unnecessary quotations are also called scare quotes. They're usually used by writers when they're expressing a skepticism about something they're reporting. A good example of this is the piece of bread popped out of the toaster with a perfect likeness of Abraham Lincoln. Commas have a few uses. They act as a visual cue for a pause and a separator between items on a list. Misplaced comma can totally change the meaning of what you're trying to say. Consider these two sentences. Mary walked on, comma, her head a little higher than usual, or Mary walked on her head, comma, a little higher than usual. There's an old comma joke that goes like this. A panda walks into a restaurant and orders a sandwich. When he finishes eating, the panda pulls out a gun and shoots the waiter, and then starts to leave. The manager shouts, "Where are you going? You just shot my waiter and you didn't even pay for your sandwich." The panda yells back, "Hey man, I'm a panda. Look it up." The manager rushes to his dictionary and immediately finds the definition for panda. Black and white Asian mammal. Eats, shoots, and leaves. A missing comma can lead one to other grisly thoughts, such as the second example. Depending on comma placement, Billy is either a little boy who is eager to have dinner with Grandpa or an unfortunate member of the Donner Party. Hyphens. Hyphens join together two words that describe a noun. It's as easy as drawing a line between the two things that go together. Consider the differences between these. A small business owner, or a small business owner, 30 odd hats, or 30 odd hats. Only use a hyphen when the two descriptors come before the noun. Homophones. Homophones are two or more words that are pronounced alike but have different meanings and or spellings. Common and easy to make errors include pear and pear, flower and flower, your and your. Homophones are also called homonyms, and this example is my favorite ever because it makes it seem way more like a prize, like, hey, congratulations on the fabulous parking, man. Here's a free amphibian. So, I know what you're thinking, but spell check and grammar check, they won't help you in every case. And when you're writing or typing quickly, it is so easy for your fingers and your brain to completely fail you, especially when it comes to things like homophones, hyphens, commas, sometimes even spelling. That's why I carry my markers. That's why I risk receiving the looks that people give other people who send back orders at McDonald's. Written communication is still so important, and even typos, simple typos, can send the wrong message. These little marks might seem insignificant, but they're a huge part of how we interpret information. So I hope that more than illustrating what can go wrong in writing, I've been able to garner a little awareness, maybe some tolerance for us marker-wielding typo vigilantes. Thank you.